Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? This is how I'm always going to start my podcasts. Today, for the first one, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and what you can expect, I guess, from the podcasts that I'll be coming up with. So, I wanted to create this podcast because really the bottom line is I want to share my passion for books, my love of reading. A few years back, I decided that my personal mission is really to put books in the hands of people, and I do this in many different ways. You'll see. And so this podcast came to mind. So one of the things that I guess defines me is that I am an English teacher. So not only do I love the written word, I also love grammar. Yes, I am a grammar nerd. And all my students read, no matter what course I teach, no matter what level, because I guess I teach English as a second language, or ESL, in the Montreal area. So no matter what I do, there is reading involved in the classroom, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, articles, basically anything I can get my hands on for my students, I provide them. I'm also a mom and stepmom, and I guess with my husband, we make a beautiful blended family. And I want to say that we all read to different, on different levels. I'm a big reader. I believe my two daughters are also quite good readers. So is my stepdaughter and my stepson as well. My husband has all kinds of books lying around. There are a lot of books in the house, that's for sure. Many piles and bookshelves and even drawers with books in them. And we go to the library quite often. So that's it. I guess we are readers, and there is a culture of reading in our house. I'm also a Rotarian. Now, maybe you've heard of that term, maybe not. A Rotarian is a member of a Rotary Club. If you are interested in finding out more, you can go to rotary.org to find out about this international organization. But I'm not going to go into too many details today. But basically, I am a volunteer, like the 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. And we are just, people who want to make a difference in our local and international communities. And one of the things I've done is I started a little free library, those little boxes where you can take a book or leave a book. I have one in front of my house. And just recently, I've also had somebody build one, and we installed it at the back of the college where I teach in Montreal. And so I guess I am a steward of two little free libraries, which allows me to share my love of reading with the community, which I absolutely love. Also in Rotary, there are different positions you can have. And one of the things I've been doing is since July of 2021, I am the literacy chair for my district, right? A district is an area with several clubs. And basically, I've been promoting literacy once again through reading, through presentations that I've been giving on, the state of literacy in Canada, US, and so on. And what I also started at that time is a diverse book club. And I've been doing it online, and it's been a lot of fun. More on that later. But why did I call it diverse? Well, it's because I want to appeal to everyone with different book genres, whether we read fantasy or science fiction or historical novels, young adult titles. And also, I make it diverse and inclusive in the sense that the questions I come up with You can answer even if you haven't read the book. So it's inclusive in that sense. And I'm continuing on as literacy chair and the Diverse Book Club in the months to come. And so that's very exciting. I love doing that. It's, I guess, talking about books is possibly one of the things I love the most in life. Um, so I told you I love to read, right? I am a compulsive book buyer, bookworm. Um, um, I'm, a book lover. All the time, the terms apply to me. I read just about anything. I read a lot of fiction. I read quite a bit of nonfiction as well. I've gotten into graphic novels, which I really like to read something different. And I have to be very honest. I love to read young adult titles. There is some really good young adult reading to be done out there. I can handle some fantasy or science fiction once in a while. Dystopian, I do like that. I do really enjoy a very well researched historical fiction title, actually quite a bit. So you'll see that throughout the podcasts. Um, there will be a whole range of genres and authors. I try to vary also in terms of the background of the authors, whether they are from the LGBT community or whether they are Black or, um, once again, it doesn't matter really. I love Scandinavian literature, Icelandic, because they are really good at doing that. So a good thriller, I can take that just about any day. Just to give you an idea, and really this is just because, possibly because of the context in the world, but in 2020 and 2021, I read almost 100 books, and I think I became kind of obsessed with reading. I've always been a reader since as long as I can remember, but I think that when they closed the libraries, I was one very unhappy camper. So that's it. I read a lot. I read mostly in English. I'll read in French as well because I do speak and understand French. I can read a little bit in Portuguese, but I should do that more clearly. And I will read some translation. Obviously, the Scandinavian books I still cannot read in Swedish, although I am learning just on the side. But I don't. I think it's going to take a while before I can actually read anything in Swedish or in Icelandic or. So in the meantime, I'll read them translated into French or English. Um, to wrap up today's podcast, I just want to give you an idea of 5 great books I read in 2021. It was a difficult choice to make, just 5, because I read a lot, as I told you, in 2020 and 2021. But I'm going to give you just an example, these examples, and you can maybe research these books on your own to find out more. So the first one is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. And this is a historical fiction title, takes place during the 1918 flu pandemic in Ireland. I thought this book was extremely emotional. I learned a lot. I felt like I was in there. And I read that like when we were, not in a good place in the, I guess, pandemic that we have just gone through. But I really, really love that book. I also read a classic. I try to read at least 1 or 2 classics a year. I read a lot of those, obviously, before, but now I try to keep up with 1 or 2 per year. So in 2021, one of the classics I read was Of Mice and Men. I know, hadn't read it, by Mr. Steinbeck, of course. I had seen the plays and the films many times, but it's just superb. Listen, it's a small book. I think it's very accessible. My daughter is going to read it next year, and she's 15. I'm sure she's going to enjoy it. So if you haven't read it, I would say pick it up. It's easy to find, actually, also just about anywhere. One of the memoirs I read, I do enjoy reading good memoirs, is Hunger by Roxane Gay. And this made me reflect a lot on my life, on my relationship with food, my relationship with my family, and also I found out a lot about what can happen after trauma, and I thought it was very, very beautifully written. So something to grab sometime in the next couple of months if you haven't read that. Two more. So, Dear Edward is a novel by Anne Napolitano. Actually, I had my students to read that. They are advanced students, and the comments were quite positive. And obviously, when you have students read a novel, there will always be some students who, of course, don't like it. But I think the comments were quite positive. It's a very, very beautiful story. Once again, as an English teacher, language is super important. So when I have my students to read something, I really care about the way it's written. And that book, it stayed with me for such a long time. Sometimes I'll still think about some of the characters, Edward and Shay, and the people on the plane, right? I'm not going to tell you too much, but uh, look it up. And the last one, it was actually the book that I finished 2021 with, is the book, The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. Matt Haig, you may know from The Midnight Library. You may know him from his children's books, from another title called Notes on Nervous Planet. He is a British writer who actually went through some very difficult moments, depression, suicidal thoughts. And he's written such beautiful, inspiring books. And this one, The Comfort Book, is one of them. It's it's kind of a little collection of small little vignettes of what can bring us, of things that can bring us comfort. I guess that's how I would describe it. So if you have a chance, this is actually a super book to give as a present to someone who you feel might need some comfort at any, and we all need comfort at some point in our lives. So I actually recently gave it to somebody as a present, and they were very happy. Listen, it's already 12 minutes here on my timer. I don't want to take too much time, but I will be back for some more podcasts. I have lots of ideas. One of them actually is going to be on buying versus borrowing books. I think I want to talk about that. I also want to share about some memoirs that I've read, and I'm going to do that soon. I for sure will talk about some Canadian writers I love. So there will be more coming up. This is just the first one. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to turn some pages. Take care. See you soon.